especially now as we jump into our man cave discussion. And man, I'm so excited to finally have this guest here on set. His name is Robert Burale, and we also always just associate. How will we call you? We'll call you what? Your pastor, your relationship coach. You're
I'm an author.
You're an author.
I'm an actor.
You're an actor. You're a dad.
Yes, absolutely.
You're just an all-round. Can we call you a
me,
men's advocate?
Just call me the coach.
The coach.
Yeah,
Oh, I like it.
That is okay.
All right, let's call him the coach.
Yes.
All right, Karibu sana.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for your time. And today, this is our Man Cave segment, and we want to talk about this question because there seem to be a lot of women out there who feel that, Maze, I don't know where these good men are.
Right.
A lot of them maybe have been hurt before or have witnessed their moms or their sisters, their aunties, someone in their life has been hurt somewhere.
Yes.
And it has led to them to almost make this general conclusion that most men are like that. When you hear that statement as a man, like, how does that make you feel?
Quite unfortunate. Makes me feel bad because the moment somebody paints all the men with one brush, even when you see or when you get to meet a good man, because of what you have in your mind, you'll automatically start looking for the bad things.
Absolutely.
Then you miss on the good.
Yeah.
Now the good could be 10, the bad could be 3.
Yeah.
But because of your mindset, the 3 looks like 30. So then you end up missing out. But that is not to say that there's some men who have not let other people down. We as men sometimes have been absentee fathers. Some people have grown up seeing men physically abuse their wives. So then you feel like this is a man thing, you understand? Especially when you grow up seeing your mother being physically abused or verbally abused by your father. And that is inculcated in you from a young age, and then it becomes part of your psyche.
Yeah.
And then to get that out is almost impossible. And then how nature is, you end up meeting the people who are like that father who used to beat your mother kind of thing. So I think as men, then we need just to have an introspection, have a self-surgery, and just accept where we have gone wrong and start healing the wounds.
Yeah, and I want us to touch on that introspection in just a bit, because I think part of being able to properly introspect ourselves and evaluate is that you have a measure, you have a standard against which you're measuring. And so I want us to dive into, what is a good man, in your opinion, as a man? I want us to get to that. But before then, you've mentioned about absentee fathers. We've also seen a lot of violence against women in recent times. And again, for you, is this more of how a man is raised, or is it just there's also a lot of societal pressure? Societal
pressure plays a major role. A man has a family battle, personal battle, societal battle. And what has happened is we are supposed to be perfect. And the pressure to be perfect is what is actually hurting us. Right. Even as a young kid, if you fall as a boy, you're told not to cry. Yeah. If a girl falls, you're told, oh, come, and then they sort you out. So we have grown up believing that we need to sort ourselves out. Even when we are dying, we can't cry. We can't show it. And that's why, and I don't condone this, I'm not justifying this in any way. That's why you see some men reacting, either committing suicide, collapsing in the traffic because of pressure, or somebody just becoming violent to his wife. It's not because that woman is bad. It's because of the pent-up issues that I've been carrying. And the society does not allow men to vent, because if you release your pain, then you're a weak person. And for me, I want to tell the men who are watching, the strongest man is the one who can be vulnerable, because that makes you release. It's like a pressure cooker. You got to release the lid for the pressure to come out. But us, we're just putting on the lid.
And that's
so society,
so different from what men are conditioned to do.
And for a lady, all you need to do is sit next to a lady in the salon. As long as you have the same weave, you'll talk about it. So by the time you're leaving the salon, you're lighter. You understand? But for men, we don't.
Yeah.
Because if I tell you,
shared is a burden half solved.
Exactly. For me, I look at some of my friends and I'm like, if I tell them this, will they still respect me?
So it's not that the pressure is just coming from women.
No, not at all.
The men themselves are giving themselves
Actually,
pressure.
let me tell you, I come from a different school of thought. I don't think it's the women giving the men pressure. It's men giving each other pressure.
Wow.
If I tell him, this is my struggle, will he still respect me? I need to be respected, Today when I got here, I was in the car and I was talking to a gentleman who has been going through hell. And I asked him, what do you mean? For how long have you been going through? He said, 7 years.
What?
So for him to talk to me today, he was at the end.
It's at the end.
Totally.
Yeah.
And had he not talked, that's a proper candidate for suicide, or somebody who will just
7
blow up.
years?
Yes, 7. And I'm like, how have you been surviving? He says, just by the grace of God. Have you told your wife? How do I tell my wife? She sees me as a Superman. She sees me as the hero. If I tell her, will she respect me? Now she will start looking at other men as macho men and me as a useless man. You see, those are the things we battle, and that's the honest truth.
Despite this external exterior of more testosterone, muscles, blah, 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 men are very insecure.
Let me tell you, some of these things we do in public are just to cover up. It's easy to be a public success but a private failure. You know, we want to appear that we are the lion, but the truth of the matter, sometimes we're dealing with things. Men are walking with death certificates in their pocket.
Wow.
We're just waiting, okay, well, is my date here, or can it come in, I want it sooner.
Yeah.
You understand? Because of those kind of pressures.
Yeah.
And I say to this gentleman today, and he's watching, I know, if only you talk to your wife, you'd realize how strong these women can be.
Yeah.
And she may even give you the solution.
Yeah.
So why are you struggling alone?
And I think a good wife would want her husband to feel safe.
Yes,
like, with
yes.
her.
But sadly, Madam Joyce, is some ladies have taken advantage and used a man's vulnerability against him.
I hear you.
Now, when you use a man's vulnerability against him later, maybe if you have an argument, you have killed that man. He will not talk to you again. He will talk to the wrong woman. Sometimes we say men don't talk. But guess
They're talking
what?
to somebody.
They talk to some women out there. In fact, the biggest custodian of secrets for men are women, but sometimes the wrong women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
Yes.
Ouch. Because
That is the truth.
that makes you think. I mean, if you're a lady and you have a man in your life, like if he's not talking to you, I guess there's a self-assessment there too that
talking to
needs to be
somebody.
done. Like, you know, did I do something, and who is he talking to?
Allow your men to be vulnerable. But
Yeah.
also men, sort yourselves out.
Yeah.
Don't go and tell the doctor you have a headache and yet it's a stomachache. They'll give you the wrong medication.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, now then, back to this introspection that
Right.
needs to be done. How do you, as a man, define a good man? Because again, you're saying there's this family pressure. Maybe your dad, you know, people's dads weren't the greatest, or they didn't, you know, they weren't really there like for them as young boys.
Right.
They weren't teaching them how to become men. They were just sort of expecting them or demanding them to.
Right.
And then there's relationships, there's women, there's, you know, pressure to be wealthy and to drive a fancy car.
Yes.
How do you define a good man as a man yourself?
Funny that you say about this wealth and cars and all that. That sadly is what the modern man thinks success is. Success is a man, or a good man is a man who knows his purpose. I'll tell you why I'm saying that. When you know your purpose, it means you'll be in the right direction, and you'll do things with your purpose in mind. All right? Now, I'm not saying a perfect man, I'm saying a good man. A good man is one who understands his weaknesses and strengths in line with his purpose. Very, very key. Number one is, who are you and what is your garden?
Yeah.
And then that means everything you do is along that. Look at a lady who is expectant. Everything she does, where she goes, is the baby okay?
Yeah.
Even when she's eating those stones, it's crazy out there, but it's okay for the baby. So your purpose takes you where you're supposed to be. A weakness comes, but you move this side. When you get these friends who tell you, let's go to a club, let's go sleep around, let's go take shisha, you're like, no, my purpose. So the problem is, society thinks a good man is a perfect man. No, a good man is one man who understands his purpose, moves towards his direction in spite of his weaknesses and strengths.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think there are enough good men?
Absolutely. And a good man could be a bad man trying to get better.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
As long as there's upward mobility.
Yeah.
As long as you see somebody is trying. You understand? And as men, I want to urge all the men, don't try and be perfect.
And that's the thing. I think we need to even move away from that word, because we will never attain it.
Absolutely
there will never be a
not.
perfect
Absolutely
man. Same
not.
way there will never be a perfect woman.
Absolutely.
There will never be a perfect child. There will never be a perfect leader.
Yes, yes.
There'll never be perfection in any
But we
regard.
need to understand that within ourselves. The day I got delivered myself, let me tell you, Madam Joyce, at some point in my life, I tried to be perfect.
Really?
I tried to cut out, like, have everything sorted. And anybody comes with a problem, I will sort you out. Even when I didn't have the money if somebody came. So it forced me to borrow, to try and please somebody else. It was taking me down.
Because you have to look like that
Yes,
guy.
it was taking me down. You understand? I see men driving big cars and you know they can't afford it.
We hear.
You understand?
Because we marry them and then we hear, oh, we're in debt.
Exactly. You understand? I got delivered because this thing took me into, oh my goodness, I was walking to my mortuary.
Wow.
And I said, you know what? I'm tired.
How did you get delivered?
I just looked at myself in the mirror and I had a conversation with the man in the mirror. And I said, listen, you're trying to kill yourself for people who don't care about you. If you die today, the moment your body has been interred, as people are walking away from your gravesite, they have moved to something else. We'll start talking about other people. So don't die for anybody, you know. And I said, listen, I'm going to accept my strengths and my weaknesses, work on my weaknesses as I amplify my strengths.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, guys. This is our Man Cave discussion and we're here with Robert Burale, the coach. And we're talking about, you know, good men. Have we given up on them? Are they good men? What is a good man? And I want to invite you guys to continue sending in your questions. I see a lot of you already contributing in. Maxwell locked in, saying you're locked in for the discussion on this topic. Someone here already posing a question. I'm going to try and get to it after the break. We're going to be back with Robert Burale when we come back. And of course, he has a men's conference that's coming up. We're going to be hearing a bit about that. But also, I want to talk to him a bit about relationships because, Maze, these two genders are always at loggerheads in one form or another.
Yes.
And we want to hear from the coach himself today how to go about this. 22999 is the SMS line. And also on Facebook at Switch TV Kenya. I'll be back after this. All right, guys, welcome back to Full Circle with Joyce. Thank you again for your company. I'm here with Robert Burale, aka the coach, and we're in our Man Cave discussion talking about good men. Do they exist? What does a good man look like? Are some of our expectations upon them unrealistic? He's here to help demystify all of this as you guys also send in your questions to 22999 and also on Facebook at Switch TV Kenya. And indeed, I have some questions here, Robert. I mean, as people begin to really open up about some of the issues that they're facing. Someone here says, hey Joyce, me and my hubby have been married for 3 years now, and he started changing 3 days ago. We argued and he told me that he came into the marriage with his baggage because his dad died almost 10 years ago. He says that he has not healed from that. How do we move on now? Because he's so defensive when you ask him a thing. And I think this is a great question because I also think it's important for us women to hear, how do we create the sort of environment, understanding that there's this societal pressure and background family pressure. How do we create that environment for men to feel
In fact, I think that's a very, very lucky lady that the man has actually said, this is what I'm dealing with. Sometimes we just say we are okay, but evidently with a non-verbal communication, we seem not okay. But the fact that he has said that this is what I'm dealing with, what she needs to do is not to attack. Like, don't make statements like, you're a grown man, you got to move on. No, no, no. Just allow him to release that and say to him, you know what, I understand what you're going through. How would you like me to help? You understand? And if you may not agree with how he's doing it, don't say you're doing it the wrong way. You just tell my husband, I understand what you mean, but can we try it this other way?
Right.
So you haven't put him down, but you've given him another solution. Okay. But the moment you tell him, grow up, I think you're doing the wrong thing, the man shuts off. And that's how a man will go and talk to the wrong woman, who I call the strange woman. So allow him, and then find out if he has one or two great friends, maybe your best couple if you had a wedding, and allow him to go and vent. Not you to go and speak to other people. Because the moment he feels that door of betrayal has been opened, then you have lost him completely. Yeah. But allow him that space just to release. If he has to shed a tear, let him shed a tear. But men shed tears on the inside anyway. But if it has to come out, it's okay. Don't make him feel weak. Tell him you understand. You may not agree with this, the way he's trying to sort it out, but say, my husband, why don't we try this other way? Okay. Communication is very key. But don't make the man lose his kingly anointing with your words. Because
it sounds like the guy he didn't grieve his father.
He didn't.
He didn't deal with it.
Yes, yes.
And you can't, and at that point you can't come and now say, you know, it was 10 years ago.
The moment you do that, you have lost that man. Absolutely. And he will not talk to you about other things that are important in future because he will always remember how you handled him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, someone here says, well, first of all, Patricia from Thika just wants to say hi to you.
Thank you, Patricia. Much appreciated.
All right.
Yes.
Someone else says, hey, Joyce, say hi to Robert.
Thank you.
For me, I have given up since the one who I thought was good beat me yesterday night because of a small issue which he said I had ignored him after requesting something. And she says in brackets, I was actually doing dishes, so I wanted to finish it first. Please, Burale, empower these men. We are told how to treat a man, but no one tells men how to treat a lady. That's someone watching us from Nyeri.
Okay. I mean, where there's physical abuse, I never advise anybody to stay.
This is even the first time, because she says this is the first time he's done it. You know, is there should we give men a grace period?
No.
Yeah.
Physical abuse is dangerous because it starts with a blow, with a slap, then a blow, and then a stab, and then a coffin. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Get help. If you're married, get help. And I'm not embarrassed to say this, and I'll say this on national television, is that if you're married and there's physical abuse, I'm not saying you divorce, but you can separate it as you sort out issues. I know some pastors say just stay, we'll pray. The same pastor 2 weeks later will be conducting your funeral. You can leave and let the man sort issues, get your family involved until such a time you feel comfortable. If it's a relationship, no one dies for moving on to another relationship.
Yeah.
Leave toxic relationships. There are also men who are beaten.
That's true.
And if a man is being beaten, that's the same woman who will pour acid on you when you're asleep.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Violence cannot be condoned in any shape or form.
Yeah.
Someone else here says, hey Joyce, for me, I grew up with an abusive father. It made me hate men since my mom was a good wife to him. But I thank God right now I have a good man in my life. Then I would love to nominate my mom for a makeover since I want to do something nice for her because she went through a lot for us. Thank you very much for that. Wow, lots of people are sharing their stories now. Karimi from Kitengela is asking, how do you make your man open up to you?
By being the safe space. Simple as that. You cannot tell him, just being the safe space. Could be sitting somewhere and you can tell he's going through some hell and high water. Don't insist. Just be there. If you want silence as you watch TV, be his company. If you want just to talk and laugh, laugh with him. And yet you know, because women have like 55,000 senses. You know there's something wrong, but just allow him to go through the motions. There's silence. Okay, we'll watch TV together. Okay, you want to laugh? I'm going to laugh with you. You want to play with the kids? Let's play. And then he starts feeling safe. He's gauging you. And then when he says, okay, I want to talk, please don't say you're busy. Listen to him.
By the way, if a man says, I need to talk, like, drop everything.
Because that could be the...
Let your chicken dinner burn.
That could be the one time in 10 years that we will speak. And as long as a man feels he wants to speak, you will save a whole nation.
Wow.
Yes.
So 2 tips there then is, number 1, be that safe space, which means don't be the one nagging it. Like, sasa ni nini?
Yes.
Una
Why you moody? Exactly.
Don't
yes.
do that.
Because the moment you do that, a strange woman will offer him a lap.
Right.
Let me tell you, if you look at the Bible, Samson, women is all about hips. You know why? The women of Israel had the same hips. But Delilah gave him the lap, which is comfort, massaged his head, authority. And guess what? The man told God, the secret I have with you, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk to this woman. There's some good tips from Delilah.
Absolutely. All right. Someone here says, hey, Joyce, my husband doesn't talk to me, but I know of this woman who he talks to, and I've talked to her, and she said she'll stop, but they're at it again. What should I do? Ooh, this is...
No, for that one, she needs to have a discussion with the husband, because that will lead, it starts emotionally, and then it will get physically. If you're married, honestly, be the safe space. And I'm not saying that your husbands talk to other women, it means the wives are not the safe space. Some men are just doing the wrong thing, to be honest with you. They get excited with a strange woman. So I think this is the time. Don't even waste your time with a woman. By the time the woman was talking to your husband, she knew it was your husband. So it's like telling a thief, don't steal. No. Deal with the man. Yes. And if you don't, it's going to get physical. Yes.
And especially because of what you're saying, like, a man may open up once in 10 years. So that emotional cheating for a guy, like this opening up to that other woman, like is so powerful.
It's one of the most powerful things. Let me tell every woman today, when your man finds comfort in another woman, even if they have not slept together, that is so powerful,
Yeah.
negatively so.
Yeah,
So you just need to talk to your husband, because you're talking to the woman, you're stabbing the wrong person. Talk to your husband, face it and say, this has to stop. There comes a time as a woman, you have to put your foot down.
Yeah.
Because you're saving your relationship,
Yeah.
you're saving your marriage, and you're saving your generation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, okay. Let me get to some more questions here then. Hey, Joyce. Okay, there's a lot of questions about men keeping things to themselves, and he says he's okay when it's clear he's disturbed. Again, is this just about just back
This
off?
space, yes, yes.
Give him
But
some
when you
space.
see it getting too much, please talk. Just try and use your grace as a woman. You know, my husband, you know, I love you, and whatever you're going through, I'm willing to listen. Because if you also wait for too long, you may get a suicide note in the evening. Yeah.
Someone here saying, I've been in marriage for 3 years and I haven't understood the man I love so much. Very secretive, and when confronted, like they just wanna lipuka. So this secretiveness, what is that?
They don't want to show their vulnerability sometimes. Sometimes maybe it's just a person who's doing some crazy things they don't want you to know, but it's vulnerability. Can I trust you? You know, and I'm glad she says the man I love. Stick it out. You know, don't walk away.
Yeah.
Some of us we lost marriages very early, and I want to tell everybody it's the worst thing. Divorce is like a death. Stick it out. If you move out, you'll get another man who will be more secretive than Mossad.
Yeah.
So you should just better the devil, you know.
Oh dear. Than Mossad. All right.
Yeah.
Hey Joyce, say hi to Robert. For me, my husband started abusing me physically and verbally. It started immediately after our wedding. That is, anyway.
Wow.
And he says he once told me that he always gets that way because of his bad childhood experience. He's really bitter about it. Please advise, because I don't want my marriage to fail.
Okay. Now, if we did that as soon as they got married, I can bet my bottom dollar the telltale signs were there. But the problem with love, when the red flags are up, they look purple because of love. If he did it as soon as they got married, if she thinks back, the telltale signs were there. And no man, or woman for that matter, should physically abuse somebody and justify it by saying, this is how I grew up.
Yeah.
The man is over 18, you must master your emotions. What I'd advise, if it's still going on, yes, you don't want to lose your marriage, but in that you lose your life. If you're not careful, you'll get permanently damaged. So you can't separate. If you see it getting worse by the day, you can separate, not divorce. Separate, bring your families together, bring your religious leaders, bring counselors, professionals, because you will save your marriage, but your coffin is being prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone else here is bringing out another side of an issue, which goes back to fatherhood. And I think a lot of us have seen on social media, you have a very close relationship with your own daughter.
The most beautiful girl in Eastern Central Africa.
Ish, sawa, coach, sawa, tumesikia. You're like waiting, you're waiting
I'm
to tell
telling you,
me.
that was a punchline.
But someone here says, hey Joyce, please tell Burale to help me because I come from a single parent family. And while growing up, my father, who happens to be very influential in the neighborhood, was very successful, and being the chief then, again, very influential. He had connections all over, and she says to cut this, he or she says to cut the story short, he was to help her get employed at a certain company, but he left the papers in one of the hotels and then continued lying that he had actually delivered the papers to the MD. And she's saying, I hate him with a passion because he secured employment for so many other people. And obviously, you know, they'd say, I'm the man's child.
Right.
Like, you'd think there'd be a priority there. So I want you to talk about people, because there's a lot of people who are dealing with various daddy issues, and it translates into everything else.
Right.
Their workplace, their relationships, marriages, even their own children.
I think the first thing is to forgive your father. Because not forgiving is like drinking poison and expecting somebody else to die.
Yeah.
You understand? And if it's not happening, if she's of, she can get a job, it means she's of good age. Just tell her to try and get jobs by herself or use other people. Because this disappointment will hurt her and have far-reaching repercussions going on forward. So what she needs to do is meet the father, tell the father, listen, Dad, I know you forgot this thing somewhere, because maybe the father is like, oh my goodness, I forgot these things, I don't want to disappoint my son or my daughter. So just face and say, Dad, it's okay, I know you forgot, there's too much pressure, that's why you have to tell me you gave it and you didn't. I forgive you, but please next time just be honest with me. It's as simple as that. It will heal the man, it will heal him or her, whoever that is. Yes.
I want us to talk about cheating, because there's 2 SMSs here which say this. Hey Joyce, watching from KBU. Some men say if he cheats on you, you know, you'll never find out because he loves and respects you. And so it's almost like by not finding out, or him not rubbing it in your face, it's some awkward symbol of love and respect. And then another says, kindly ask him what to do, because my husband has a strange woman who is pregnant and we did a holy wedding. So men and cheating, the whole sponsor culture, the whole polygamy, I feel like it's not like back in the day where now you formally marry and bring them into your homestead. But, you know, we see guys with openly, like multiple women. And a lot of women are frustrated about this, Robert.
I blame both men and women, because the man is cheating with another woman.
That's right.
So women have become also their worst enemies. And I'll tell the lady something right now. The chances are very high that if your man is cheating on you, look at your 4 closest friends.
Ouch.
Yes. I tell you that without batting an eyelid or without fear of contradiction. The person who is most dangerous is the one you trust, is the one you run to and say, these are the issues I'm going through, is the one who befriends you to cover up what she's doing with your husband. Not always, but in most cases, yes. And I've had the privilege of speaking to many people who are like, I can't believe she did this to me. I can't believe he did this to me. I'm like, why? You just promoted a parking lot friend to your bedroom friend. So just know what to do. You understand? And sometimes women are your own worst enemies, because you go and advertise your husband for free to your friends. and men cheating. For somebody to say he loves and respects me, that's why he keeps it away from me. The fact that a man cheats on you does not love you, does not respect you. There comes a time you have to put your foot down. In this day and age, there are diseases. And the worst thing is you're working with your husband or your wife, and the people who are sleeping with you are there saying, oh, you look good together. That is mockery of the highest level. Protect your home. The moment you bring in 2, 3 other people, you're in a coalition government.
This coalition government thing seems to be a lot, because now there's a lot of questions coming in about cheating, other women getting pregnant. I'm just going to read 3 of them and then you'll respond collectively. Hey Joyce, I found my husband of 3 years in bed with another woman last night. Oh dear. Okay. He got really mad and akanichapa. What? We have an 8-month-old, and as at now I'm lost and don't know what to do. Please help. That's one SMS. Another says, hey Joyce, my husband cheated on me, but I acted as if I knew nothing, and he broke up with the girl. But she's already pregnant and they are communicating, and I'm afraid of them getting together. What should I do? Another says, what if a lady claims herself with a matter of jealousy, that you have gotten another wife there behind? How can I convince her in order to live our normal way of life? So maybe he's saying that his wife is suspicious of him, that he has another wife. How can he convince her so that they can live their normal life?
Okay, number one, the one who said that the husband was cheating and she acted as if nothing was happening, that is somebody who does not value herself. You cannot condone somebody's misbehavior by trying to act like nothing happened. Something happened. And oh, I'm scared because she's pregnant. The fact that you acted like nothing happened, you allowed that to go on. You understand? When you don't deal with the snake, you'll deal with the dragon at the end. So she needs to deal with the issue. The one who found the husband cheating and was physically abused needs to leave and sort those issues. Take your
how rude.
Yes,
like she found him in bed.
Take your 8-month-old baby and go home until you sort those issues out, because even these kids, as much as they're that young, the toxic environment affects them going forward.
Oh my gosh. Coach, I still have so many questions to get to. Unfortunately, my time is also running out. And I don't want to let you go before telling us about the men's conference that's happening tomorrow. This is the second year you're doing it.
This is the second year of doing it.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. We do have the men's conference tomorrow. The theme is Reclaim and Heal. The men's conference is not for perfect men. Unfortunately, perfect people will not be allowed. And it's not a conference to bring men to bash women, and these women are too hard. women empowerment. No, 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 no. It is a conference to accept where we have gone wrong as husbands, as brothers, and as fathers.
Okay.
And then we start healing ourselves. We want young men to come, and we'll tell them these are the mistakes we did, so that don't walk that direction.
Sure.
And we want just to have a healing for the men who have daddy issues. They didn't grow up with their father. There'll be older men telling them, come and give your father's hug. Let healing start, so that when you go back to society, we'll be better husbands, better brothers, and better fathers. But we must accept. But the truth of the matter, we're not leaving any man behind.
Right.
If 1,000 live and one dies, the 1,000 have failed.
Right.
Yes.
Like,
so it's tomorrow at Nairobi Cinema, 9 a.m. till 1 p.m.
Tickets?
will be done. 1,000 shillings.
And they can buy them also.
You
at
can
the
buy
gate?
the entrance, but we may give just a few people who love your show.
There was someone here actually who was saying, please ask the coach to give me a ticket for men's conference tomorrow. So I don't know. You can tell me how generous you're feeling.
10 tickets.
Wow. 10 tickets. That's
Yes.
like 10,000 bob worth of tickets.
Change a man, you change the society.
Okay.
Yes.
You know what I'm going to do? I feel like when I go on break, I'm going to give you the iPad so that you can actually select a few of them yourself.
That's fine. That's
Yeah?
fine. And
You
the
can
names will
read
be at
some
the
of the-
entrance, and they just
Yes.
come.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go. 10 tickets are going to go out to you, our audience members, courtesy of the coach here, Robert Burale. Asante sana for coming
Thank
through
you
to
for
the show.
having me.
Clearly, this is a conversation that needs to continue.
be
We
more
need each other at the end
Absolutely.
of the day.
Absolutely.
And so we do appreciate you and value what you're doing. Na hisi ile men's conference watu wanasemanga ile ya next week ya Valentine's Day.
No, you know,
this is a very
I've seen on
important
social
one.
media people joking, oh, give us kibor. We're not here to joke around.
Yeah.
If you want to go for those ones, this is not for men who just want, there's too much immaturity on social media.
Yes.
Yeah, this for
And
serious
too much
things.
is at stake in real life.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Robert.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, we're going to go and break and